Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Just acknowledge it, knowledge with no scholarships. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Breaking everything down, tech to politics. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. We don't tell you what you want, we just give you what you need. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. News, blues, and views from these Chi-Town streets. Topic Thunder.
Ma Jordan out ahead of the pack,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
During intros.
In the world's most dangerous chat zone, we call it the Thunderdome. This is Topic Thunder. And there's Dad Effort Brooks.
The VIPs right off the rip.
Right off the bat. And there's Adrienne stepping in, checking in. So
yeah, look at it flooding in. All the regulars. All the regulars pulling up a stool to the bar.
As we call the Internet Saloon. Topic Thunder, that's the show. Welcome in, folks. Episode 152 for those keeping score at home. So, if you don't know, we talk. We fashion ourselves as infotenders.
Indeed.
And we're going to be pouring you guys conversation as we go through the motions here. Not just emotions, because trust, from the bottom of our heart, no sarcasm, every night is magic, ladies and gentlemen. So, to
open things up, you've talked about it for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Finally got a chance. We have 2 episodes, I believe, left, but have gotten through most of Turning Point, the documentary on Netflix.
We're, I think, 5 eps in. We're halfway through.
Okay, so I think we're 2 episodes ahead of you.
You're ahead of us.
We're about to get into the Putin era right now. So yes, very, very, very good stuff. Like you're totally spot on. It should be required viewing to be in the world's most dangerous chat room and watching this show. Honestly,
vote.
Right? You should have to watch it in order to participate or vote. Yeah, just vote in the general election.
Just to vote.
It is so good, so informative, really in depth, great interviews with all the big players. Yes,
painstakingly, which is when you're trying to prove a point with evidence. And
we also have Max, and I have seen the Alex Jones documentary. That is on the list.
There's a lot. You shared with us another one too, and
Octopus Murders. Yes,
Octopus Murders. There's just a lot going on, folks. We try to aggregate a lot of it here in the program. The staff works really hard combing the internet for stories that we.
But I don't want to move off this too quickly because I want to put you over here just a little bit because you really have to watch Turning Point to understand the full context of how we have arrived at the moment. You have been talking about this, right? And I think it's one thing for all of us to have heard it from you and you have laid it out and you've laid the breadcrumbs for us, but it took something like a Netflix documentary, a robust Netflix documentary, which surely if you had the capabilities, you could have put this together yourself. But thankfully someone did it for you. Like you said last week, someone kind of did the work for you because this kind of lays out your thesis in a 9-part documentary of, and it's really important to see all the steps because they all matter. Going back to the atomic bomb and how that changed and shaped everything up until this point. It is really important to see the politics and how they all broke down and the end of communism and what effects that had. I mean, it is really important to understand. To truly understand where we're at now, you have to see that and take it all in and understand that you are buckling up for a long ride, a very detailed ride, but an important ride.
To know where we are now, you kind of have to know these things, and not maybe the absolute minutia
of it. Correct.
You don't have to for sure, but just understand that. As we've been talking about, dare I say, if this is episode 152, we've been talking about this for 147 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
we as Americans don't understand the long game.
Correct.
Right?
That's the important part that you need to understand is the long game. And when we say long game, it's a long game from like the 1940s long.
The countries that have existed for hundreds, if not thousands of years, don't mind waiting 60 or 70 years to see their plans come to fruition.
Right. They've been around a long time.
And they've done it before. It's happened to them before. They know what's going to. Certainly, technology has added an influence. Social media has definitely become a weapon in this. But it's no different, really. It's just an amplified version of the town crier, or the oddly printed newspaper, or the informants being sent to a royalties court to disperse rumors and innuendo for an adversary, right, in a royal court situation. So we'll
have to come back and have another conversation once we've both finished it.
Yeah,
and kind of give people a full scale wrap around this thing. But so far, 7 episodes in, 5 for you, 5 stars. Must watch. Definitely recommend to anybody watching this.
It's great. It absolutely is something to have a beverage over.
Indeed.
And as most things are, the conversation gets a little bit easier once you've had a drink or two. And that's why we call ourselves the Internet Saloon. We invite you to belly up to the bar here, folks. Trying something here. And I'm not gonna lie, I've already had one today. I had a couple the other day. Wow, hello. This is brewski.
There it is. Okay.
Like right there.
There it is.
Turn it the right way. Brewski.
Cleverly named.
We have actually done reviews of beers here from Noon Whistle Brewery. I'd have to go back into the archives to check how many, but I know we've done more than one. Local brewery. It's out of I think this is Lombard and Naperville. So western suburbs in the Chicago area, and just it top right there on your screen. If you're looking at it, it's a beer in a can, and it's an American lager, traditional American lager,
beautifully copper colored. Traditional amber lager. The malt makes this beer slightly sweet with toasted bready aromas and flavors that are balanced with, is that Saaz or Saaz hops? Saaz. I don't know how to pronounce that. Saaz. I don't know.
Screen, and I wasn't prepared for that, Ben.
Hey, I'm just saying. It's okay. You don't have to. We don't have to know. I mean, it's not that important. It's some sort of. I'm sure it's a sort of plant.
Saaz. I'd say Saaz.
I would say Saaz based on how it's
Saaz hops.
Yes. So, Brooks Bolts.
It's a solid beer. That's if we're giving out 5, we agreed upon
5. Yeah, 5 is the top of the line. That is held. That is restricted for very rare occasions. This did not have 5 vibes. When you
and you have to be careful with that, right?
Correct,
because,
right?
Excellence.
You can't just hand those out, man.
You can't just hand them out. If there was a split between 3.5 and 4,
somewhere in that neighborhood, 3.8.
A 3.75 would be the if
we're really gonna have it there, right? Yeah,
because it's. I can make an argument for either way. Like, yes, it's still just a beer, right? There's nothing like remarkable about, but that's what makes it really good. Is it's a beer. It tastes like beer. It finishes clean, crisp. I think the packaging is nice. Brewski is a very clever, especially here in Chicago, a very clever name. Hold on, let me just. All right, I'm going to make this sip right here. The sip of decision will make the difference right now between 3.5 and 4. All right, here we go.
All right.
That's a 4.
Okay. All right. There it
That's
is.
a 4.0 right there. Right there. That it goes down really quick. Unlike some laws in Arizona,
Yeah.
which seem to survive forever.
Golly. We got some stuff to talk about this week, Brooks.
And I don't even know where to. What?
Yeah, this is
Arizona.
Arizona going off the
What?
rails. It's just it's really the Arizona Supreme Court, and this is where we're at when we talk about long-term plans, Brooks. This is a long-term plan being put into effect where you have packed courts in the lower courts, you have stacked conservative court systems, Supreme Courts across this country that are making decisions based on political and personal beliefs and not based on the law and what is the right thing in terms of the law for everyone. That
Or what the,
Supreme Courts, from the top Supreme Court to the state Supreme Court, they're all corrupted.
Imagine that.
Full stop.
Imagine a shadowy group of attorneys and accomplished lawyers, judges, clerks, all up and down that form some sort of cabal. And they give themselves the oh so cool name and almost patriotic but ubiquitous name of the Federalist Society, because they reference the Federalist Papers, which you can take with a grain of salt and probably should have a drink before you read them. Same.
Yeah.
Group of
So
people
here
have
we
been
are.
seating, like you said, Ben, our local, state, federal, and Supreme Courts for the last 30 to 40 years. Here is the result. That the Arizona Supreme Court ruled that a near total abortion ban from 1864 is enforceable.
Just for those scoring at home, 1864 was before women had the right to vote. And here we are now
was before
making
Arizona
rules.
was a
We're going back to
state.
rules to that point.
It wasn't a state when this rule.
What
and
is
law.
going on? Where do we live? This is crazy.
Oh,
You know how crazy it is, Brooks? That
Ben?
even Republicans, like hardcore Republicans like Kari Lake, are like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is a terrible idea. In an election year, this is a terrible idea. Please don't do this. Like, that's how you know it's a bad idea, when these hardcore MAGA Republicans are even like, no, 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 no.
From our article, NBC News, hello, the law, which is codified in 1901 and again in 1913, great year, outlaws abortion from the moment of conception, but includes an exception to save a woman's life. What? Even back then?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for that. Thanks for that fucking olive branch.
That Civil War era law.
Civil War era law. That right there. Stop. If it's a Civil War era law, we're not going back to
Seriously
it.
need to reconsider.
Yeah, come on. Are we serious about this? A Civil War era law? Really? Come on.
Again, enacted a half century, 50 years before Arizona even gained statehood, was never repealed, and an appellate court ruled that last year it could remain on the books as long as it was harmonized with the 2022 law, leading to substantial confusion in Arizona law regarding exactly during what stage of pregnancy abortion was outlawed. The decision, which could shutter abortion clinics across the state, effectively undoes a lower court's ruling that stated a more recent 15-week ban for March 22nd superseded the 1864 law. The Arizona Supreme Court said it would put its decision on hold for 14 days, writing it would send the case back to a lower court so that court could consider additional constitutional challenges that haven't been cleared up yet. All of this to fast forward to the fact that the Arizona Supreme Court sought out a 160-year-old law and said this is enforceable. Nothing political.
Mm-hmm.
In the most political cycle we're ever probably going to experience as Americans.
But this is a huge misstep, Brooks. This is actually a good thing if you are on the side that does not want to see the MAGA Republicans win in this next election. Because, Brooks, this has been decided pretty overwhelmingly across this country at this point that the people, they are not interested in these abortion bans. It is these grandstanding judges and political figures that they are worried about it, and it is backfired everywhere that these laws have gone into effect. The next election cycle, Republicans lose. It is what fucking happens. And Arizona is a very important state in this next presidential election. It was pretty important the last time. It's going to be important again. And the Republicans are fucking with something that they don't, even, like I said, even the Kari Lakes of the world, there's a lot of Republicans that realize this is not the right move. This is hurting them.
Absolutely. And there was a push in the Arizona state legislature to reverse this law and repeal it.
Correct.
This story from our good friends at ABC News. Hello, go. Arizona Republicans block quick push to repeal near total abortion ban, which hasn't taken effect yet. The GOP leaders say they want to hear from constituents first.
That's a very convenient argument to say we want to hear from the constituents first.
Arizona Republicans on Wednesday blocked efforts to move forward on a bill to repeal a near total abortion ban in the state that dates to 1864, which the Arizona Supreme Court ruled this week is enforceable. Okay, so take a step to pause. Go back to our ethics and government classes. This is what's supposed to happen at this point, right? Somebody says, I'm going to sue you because of this. And it goes to one court, to a higher court, to a higher court. All of a sudden it hits the Supreme Court of whatever jurisdiction, right? That jurisdiction goes, well, they have a point, right? Mm-hmm. There's something there that we can't necessarily disregard because there hasn't been anything that has outlawed that or repealed that. So technically, and credit, I guess, to this point, the Arizona Supreme Court, because they played it the way they should have. Like, here this law is. We've looked at 160 years of legislation and nobody said ban that. Okay,
I see what you're saying.
So here comes the Arizona legislature and says, all right, we need to ban that. And the GOP portion of that legislature says, wait a minute, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. We need to hear from our constituents.
Well, which again, I don't necessarily disagree with, right? Put it to a vote.
Okay, fine. But if you already don't know what your constituents think about the abortion situation,
True that. That's another aspect of it. Sure.
Your job as a representative of the people.
But it certainly shouldn't be something like I do concede some middle ground here in that they are right in that the populace, the constituents should have the biggest say in this. And that's what I think if you're going to turn these things over to the states, you have to then also take it out of the hands of political leaders and put it in the hands of the constituents and hold votes on these things and let the people vote on the laws that they are going to have to live under. What you can't do is just let it stop at the political leader level. That you're going to get corruption and you're going to get things that are going to go against the populace and the popular opinion. If you stop there, you have to leave it up. You have to hold things for a complete vote on these matters.
And you also have to, again, take a look at who's blocking these situations where a vote could be brought. Again, if you don't know what your constituency thinks about the abortion issue, you're
burying your head in the sand purposely.
And your odds are voting against your constituency, which good luck into the 4 years, whenever your term is up. The fact that the GOP blocked an appeal of this law.
Yeah, it's par for the course, though. It's par for the course.
In an election year where this is clearly the meat on the table, the main course of the debate. If you're not paying this, women's reproductive and women's rights overall are going to be the central course of this next election.
Yeah,
it is.
I agree.
Flat out. And we are going to be relying on our mothers, our sisters, our friends, our co-workers. As males, we're going to be relying on them to be the leading voice in these situations. And we should.
Yeah. This is not going to go well for Republicans in Arizona or elsewhere.
They're serving this up. And there are women in these organizations.
Yeah. There's a lot of women that agree with that. There are a number of women that are anti-abortion. Don't make any mistake about that.
Absolutely. And I'm all for it. That beliefs are what they are, for sure. 100%. Right? And I'm okay with having a discussion about this. But to shut down any type of legal proceeding just based on this sort of thing. Just
got to reference real quick. Stoney McGee joining us a little late.
Hey.
Brewski from what was the brewer
from Noon Whistle? Brewski from Noon Whistle. It's good stuff, man.
It got 4 Brooks bolts, just so you know.
4
Stoney.
bolts. It's a real solid beer. Easy to drink. It's a very much a summertime. I'll never do that again. But a summertime beer for sure, 100%.
Yeah, Ryan Hansen, you make a great point. You know, weren't these senators and House members only supposed to exist because back in the day it was impossible for people to travel to vote? We only need these congressmen to make laws now. We can all vote easily. Like, I think there is something to be said for that.
I think there absolutely is. Like
our system is outdated. There's the electoral college is extremely outdated. And, so yeah, we're dealing with a system that is broken.
Bridges are outdated. Communication systems are outdated. We have focused on the wrong things for a good long time.
Yep.
We haven't paid attention to what really makes this country great, what it makes it hum. But here they are again, showing their true skins. We have the GOP. Folks, I'm going to read you a story from the website called thehill.com, we've done stories from this website before, and we've always said the same thing.
Right. We always preface it with the same thing.
This website is just about as far right-leaning as you can get without becoming, in our editorial opinion, propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
So, from thehill.com, group of Republicans block FISA bill with spy powers deadline looming. That might sound ominous and cool. Let's dive into it. A group of House Republicans on Wednesday tanked a procedural vote to begin debate on a bill to reauthorize the nation's warrantless surveillance powers, leaving the chamber scrambling on how to address the important spy tool before it expires next week. We're going to scroll down a little bit because I think there's some explanation here, right, as to what the nation's warrantless surveillance power means.
Because I don't necessarily disagree with not allowing that to move forward, honestly.
If we could scroll down right before the
but I hate to be in agreement with anything on Matt Gaetz. It really so that makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel like I'm on the wrong side of this if Matt Gaetz is on the other side. Is on the same side, I should say.
As it really should. Dude, my friend Bernie is in the world's.
Yeah, that's a new face. See, I saw he seemed to know you for sure. So.
Okay, so Bernie, good to see you, man. I hope all is well. Actually, thanks for tuning in. Bernie and I, we're gonna take a segue here.
Yeah,
Bernie
put a pin in that. We're
gonna to the days of when I was DJing as many nights as I could at local bars and establishments to get myself through X-ray school.
Yes.
And Bernie was one of the head bouncers, managers of one of the bars I spent most of my time at. Bernie's good people. Bernie's a good man.
Welcome,
Bernie. Just a heavy metal fan, right?
Yeah,
I love Bernie. Anyway,
don't be afraid to join the conversation, Bernie. We love different voices, and even if you may not necessarily agree with what we're saying, don't be afraid to speak up. We will give you the floor and give you your space to make your points. So we love having
karaoke you. There, Joe. Actually, at Durbin's, I'll say the name, Durbin's. I was just playing the hits. I was playing some Slayer. I did when Bernie gave me the forks up, I'd hit some metal because the dude's into a little Pantera, a little
sure,
Metallica,
love it,
of course. All right, back to this Hill story, right?
Yeah.
This entire move comes after former President Trump on Wednesday urged Republicans to kill FISA, which is throwing a wrench in the already contentious debate. The failed vote marks yet another instance where members of the GOP tanking what is typically a routine party line vote to protest legislation put forward by leadership. Again, they're tanking a routine vote led by Matt Gaetz and other MAGA aligned conservatives. The group offered conflicting rationales for blocking the bill. They were upset that Speaker Mike Johnson was backing the legislation without a warrant requirement, even though their upheaval meant the warrant amendment and insisted
So even though their upheaval means the Warren Amendment they insisted has broad support will no longer get a vote.
They will get an amendment after the initial vote has been cast. This gets interesting because if you scroll down a little bit, Ben, to past the Cube Smart Storage ad, leaving the vote on Wednesday, Johnson said the GOP would regroup and reformulate another plan to extend the country's spying powers. What they're really not talking about is that this isn't specifically about spying on Americans. This is specifically about, in the Section 702 of FISA, requires the surveillance of any American citizen their communications with known foreign agents, which would upset quite a bit of people, actually, because you could see where this comes in, and then you can see why people who might be compromised might be like, you got to kill this bill because we can't have our shit tapped because we're talking to, well, the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting.
Something to pay attention to, and we might hear a little bit more about this, but it's going to be secondary to the crazy immigration and foreign assistance bills that we all hear about in headlines and stuff like that. But it's these little things that authorizing the surveillance of people who might be spies against our
by whose
country.
standards? Yeah.
We need to authorize these things, and we shouldn't be making a big deal about it either, by the way.
Yeah, it seems like you're playing with a fire that that doesn't seem worth playing with.
Well, I mean, speaking of a fire that you don't want to play with, right, Ben? You don't want to go after the Trump company or Trump empire, right? Yeah, that's where we're going here. So sorry, folks. Because they've got the best. Yeah, so
things aren't going well in Trumpville these days.
They got the best and the brightest, right, Ben? Because you don't want to sue Trump. You don't want to get into a legal proceeding with Trump.
Sure. I don't know. It seems like you win a lot lately.
ABC News, hi. I don't have any files for you. Quote, man tells Trump's lawyers after they subpoena the wrong person.
Jesus, that's so great. That's right up there with the what was the lawn care place that Rudy Giuliani, the Four Seasons?
The Four Seasons.
Lawn care place.
Attorneys in Trump's hush money case subpoenaed the wrong Jeremy Rosenberg.
Jesus, come on. A clown show. That is exactly what it is.
There are multiple Jeremy Rosenbergs in New York City.
As you can imagine, yeah.
As former President Trump's attorneys found out Tuesday after they sent a subpoena to the wrong one.
Amazing.
Last month, Trump's attorneys in his criminal hush money case in Manhattan sought to subpoena the Jeremy Rosenberg, who was supervising investigator in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Okay, they're trying to prove that the investigation is jaded. Okay, cool, right? Instead, according to court filings revealed Tuesday, the subpoena went out to Jeremy Rosenberg living in an $8 million Brooklyn home.
Also unsurprising.
Not surprising. Quote, I don't have any files for you. That Rosenberg wrote to a defense attorney, Ted Blanche.
Furthermore, this is great.
I don't have any files for you. Like, the names are great too. Like, let's shout out to Ted Blanche.
Yeah, Todd Blanche.
I'm sorry, did I say Todd? Okay, I said Ted. Todd Blanche.
Yeah, you just said Ted.
Furthermore,
this next quote from Rosenberg is fucking great too.
That Rosenberg wrote, I'm keeping the $15 Blanche had provided him to pay the cost of sending the requested documents. Prosecutors informed the court that was not the Jeremy Rosenberg Trump's legal team was looking for. After Blanche complained Rosenberg was not being cooperative.
Look at that stupid fucking face.
After receiving defendant's pre-motion letter, the people spoke with Mr. Rosenberg's counsel, who informed the people that Mr. Rosenberg was not, in fact, served with the subpoena, that Mr. Rosenberg had not corresponded with the defense counsel, and that Mr. Rosenberg did not have any connection to the Brooklyn address where the subpoena was purportedly served.
Amazing.
Again, believe what you want.
It's so incredible.
Are what they are. If you can't see what's going on and what this guy really is, I don't know. Ben,
dude, I saw, this is kind of sidetracking, but I saw a picture of him the other day on social media.
who?
And he looked, Trump,
Oh,
sorry.
sure.
And was so obviously covered in a heavy layer of bronzer, like all over his face, all over his skin. Like it was obvious that he was wearing makeup, bronzer, you know? And then I thought to myself, and someone pointed out on social media, and I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If Biden went out on television tomorrow and had bronzer from head to toe, what would Republicans and right-wing media say about Joe Biden and his mental health if he showed up on television tomorrow covered in bronzer like that?
I mean, objectively, it's not fair, the coverage of the discussion of their mental state.
Sure.
Because there's a hyper focus on every single gaffe, every single misstep or trip up a pair of stairs that Biden makes. Yet Trump's like confusing Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama with like current date, like. So, Ben, we're gonna. I think I might have sent you these in the wrong order. There's a.
Yeah, is it going for the next?
The Midas touch story.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, you want to look at this little chart here?
Let's flip it really quick. I sent you a Midas touch with Barry Diller, who I had to like, holy shit, look back and go, what? Oh my God, Barry Diller?
Who's Barry Diller?
This guy?
You're going to have to give me some. I don't know who that is.
Oh, did I not?
I apologize. I know I have the video. I just don't know who Barry. You say Barry Diller as if he's some sort of famous guy that.
Oh, he was the Jim Cramer before Jim Cramer.
Gotcha.
On the cable news, like procrastination about stocks and the market.
Gotcha.
This is what Barry Diller had to say about Truth Social and our leader.
Political question about former President Trump, but actually a business question about Truth Social. You've seen the stock on the move in this, I'll call it remarkable, maybe even crazy way.
Just say two words: GameStop.
GameStop. That's what you think is going on here.
It's ridiculous.
Do you
the company has no revenue.
But do you think it could ever be a bigger business? Do you think if he wins the presidency, it becomes?
Why?
I'm asking.
Why would it be bigger? Look, he's only interesting now because he's out there entertaining the folks. I hope if he'd get elected, he just plays golf for 4 years. But
so, do you think that all of the investors in this are getting scammed? Do you think they think this is a transference of wealth from one side to the other, and that's the goal? What do you think is happening?
I think they're dopes. I mean, who would buy a company that literally has? I mean, I think, what does it have? $30 of revenue. Why would you how could you put a value on it? They're buying it for other reasons, just like they bought theaters when there was no theater business, or they bought GameStop or whatever. It's stupid. It's stupid stuff.
It was 1,000 times revenue, I think.
What?
I think it was wasn't it $4 million? It was
$4 million in revenue. That's $4 million in revenue. It's ridiculous. I'm not saying it's not real.
Why are you even talking about this? It's a scam. Just like everything he's ever been involved in is some sort of con.
Let me pivot.
Amazing survival of a con man is just beyond comprehension. But there it is.
That's so great. Just calling it what it fucking is. That's amazing.
And if you've been paying attention, Ben, now you can show that next
the next slide,
right? Next slide. That like, is this not the hallmark of a pump and dump?
Well, I mean, yes, he is 100%. This is no different than the sneakers and the Bible and all the other things that he has convinced these dummies to throw money at for him. I mean, this is just another. Barry Diller points out they're all scams. Every one of his things that he does like this is just another way to grift off of his followers. That's what he's a grifter at heart, right? That's what we know.
Can't
people
be said enough, actually.
Yeah, he's a grifter, always looking how to use his following and extract money from them. He always wants to reach in the pocket of his supporters rather than just, have supporters and not take advantage. Like Taylor Swift doesn't take advantage of her supporters, and she's got one of the greatest support levels of support on the planet.
That's messaging, actually.
Fair.
I'm say that, like, because $35 for a T-shirt isn't. She's
not setting those prices, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
But ultimately,
she's not selling Bibles though, and she's not getting them to invest in some sort of scam company that he has, or stakes.
It's a different situation because of the ethos and.
Maybe it was a bad comparison. I'll concede that. I was on a little bit of a rant there, but you get the point that I was making.
No. The point is actually taken and observed because it is a brand, right?
Right.
Well, what's the brand? And if you understand a track record, and there's taking your analogy, a track record of a sample size of Trump versus a track record and sample size of Taylor Swift. And if you had to invest your life's savings in one of those two companies, one of those two brands,
right? Who would you pick? Right. Anyone investing in anything Trump, buying anything Trump, is a sycophant. Plain and simple. Pure. That's it. That you are a sycophant, you are being scammed, you're willfully being scammed. You're lapping it up. And it's all to own the libs. That's at the core of it all, is to own the woke.
To be angry, to express
crazy.
Your anger, but you don't know how to express your anger, and you don't know why you're angry in the first place in a lot of cases. And in a lot of the cases when you know you're angry, it usually has to do with some really dark stuff. So it's not unheard of that it's not exclusive to the United States. It's exclusive to humanity. We haven't really talked a lot about the situation in Israel. And for a lot of reasons.
Right, because it's gotten very repetitive, honestly.
That too, but I'm not comfortable making a decision here. That might be controversial in and of itself. And maybe...
okay, because me and you are very different now, because I have been further on one side of this than you have for a bit now. But bro, at this point, Israel is right at the edge of completely out of control.
You're not wrong. And my point would then being they're becoming what they oppose, right?
It's the classic Batman quote, right?
That you're the hero. Basically.
Right. Long enough to become a villain eventually.
Right. And while I'm certainly appreciative of the efforts, and this sounds weird, the efforts of the Israeli Defense Force to protect their citizens, we can also say, at this point, maybe they've gone a little bit too far.
Yeah.
However, today, it's Reuters, which is, we'll get back to you on the trustedness of this.
Really? Because Reuters is like right up there with
Reuters,
AP.
There was a certain percentage of Reuters that was purchased by RASS, RASS, which is a
Interesting.
A very well-connected Russian.
Interesting. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, look that up. Reuters. 3 sons of Hamas leader Hanake are killed in Israel airstrike. This is cool in and of itself, right? Because fuck Hamas. Like, fuck
Sure.
you guys.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
as
okay
much
with
as
that. I don't feel bad for that family or Hamas.
Don't feel bad at all. Cairo. 3 sons of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh were killed in an Israeli airstrike in the Gaza Strip on Wednesday, the Palestinian Islamic group and Haniyeh's family said. The Israeli military confirmed carrying out the attack and described the 3 sons as operatives in the Hamas armed wing. The 3 sons, Hazim, Amir, and Mohammed, were killed when the car they were driving was bombed in Gaza's El Shati camp, Hamas said. 4 of Haniyeh's grandchildren, 3 girls and a boy, were also killed in the attack. Hamas said. Asked about the 4 grandchildren in the airstrike, the Israeli military said there was no information about them.
Oh, I bet not. This is what I'm talking about, Brooks. Like, there had to have been a better way. There had to have been a better way to go about this. They had to have known that those children were in those fucking cars. Don't tell me you didn't know, because either you knew and you didn't care, or your military intelligence is highly incompetent and you should not be bombing things that you're not 100% fucking sure what it is. It's one of those 2 things, Brooks. Is it anything else? Is there a third option I'm missing here?
Asked about the 4 grandchildren killed in the airstrike, the Israeli military said there is no information on that right now. Hanai, based in Broad, Qatar. Let me just say, Hanai, based in Qatar, has been tough talking in the face of Hamas's international diplomacy as war with Israel has raged in Gaza, where his family home was destroyed in an Israeli airstrike back in November. Quote, so let me just get this straight. Let's just point this out. This dude, the leader, one of the leaders of Hamas, is living in Qatar.
Qatar, yeah, I think that's all.
Right? While his 4 sons and daughter, or whatever, are living in Gaza?
That is a bit weird.
Weird because, like, okay, like, oh man, like, if you had like 4 sons, that's a lot. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids, right? Like, families of 3, 4, 5. Like, that's a lot of sacrifice. That's
okay. Well, the next paragraph tells you why they were there, though.
The blood of my sons is
it's actually
dear.
Below that, but yes, the 3 sons and 4 grandchildren were making family visits during the first day of Muslim, and I'm not even going to try to say what the holiday is.
Adid al-Fitr. Yeah.
It's a holiday in Shati, their home refugee camp.
Ramadan. It's the end of Ramadan is basically what it is. Up until early when the sun rose this morning, our Muslim friends observing Ramadan were not able to eat during or drink anything during the day. That's basically Ramadan. Once the sun goes down, they can consume. Once the sun comes up, they cannot. So this airstrike corresponded with that situation. But the fact that this guy is look, I would imagine if you had children, you loved them all, right?
Sure.
But when you have 13 of them and you're trying to make it out like these were my kids, I don't have a lot of sympathy
Whoa, that's a controversial. Wait, so because he had 13 kids, like some are expendable? Is that what you're like?
The way he's playing it, because it almost seems like these people were set out to be sacrificial lambs at this point.
That's not how I'm reading this situation.
I'm absolutely seeing this as a situation where 13 sons and daughters, and you're going to make a big deal about 3. I get it.
They're dead. They're the 3 dead ones, though.
What are they doing then in the middle of a war zone?
They were visiting family.
When you're in Qatar.
Yeah, but so they were visiting family. Like I don't know. I don't know if I can get with you on this one, Brooks.
You didn't think that at any point that your children would be military targets in this situation?
Sure, that goes through your head, but you don't imagine that the other side is going to bomb them while they're driving down the street with their children in the car. Yes, you're at war, but there are still some fucking rails that you play within. And that is so outside the rails. Because again, it's either one of 2 things, Brooks. It's either bad intelligence or you knew and you didn't care. And either one of those things on the Israeli side is a bad thing. There's no other way that you can paint that. It's one of those 2.
What if the we knew and we didn't care came from the other side?
It would be equally deplorable.
What's more likely in this? Look, we have and should criticize the Israeli response in this situation, because there are plenty of times where you could see where they've clearly gone into overdrive, where they're it's a tough situation.
I understand that, but dude, I don't think
this one,
and I don't mean this on this. I don't want this to come off insulting, but it is because you don't have children that you can say that he is using his children as props, and that. But dude, they're dead. Yeah, he has 13 children, but the idea that because he has a lot of children that it shouldn't affect him as much if they die, if a couple of them die, is a take that I just don't think that doesn't compute to me. And I think it's because you don't have children, so you don't. I'm not saying that in an insulting way. I think it's just a matter of fact.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very open to that large portion of the conversation. Sure. Mm-hmm. What I'll also state is that, like, at some point you have to understand, like, some people in the world don't think like you do about their offspring. And in a lot of cases, the idea of procreation was just get as many as we can because we know some of them are going to die, whether it's going to be through childbirth, all the way through disease and upbringing, through war and famine, and these situations where, like, maybe they were fighting for fiefdoms and swords and spears, horses, and armor, and here we are in a similar situation where they, unfortunately, some people might view their own children as fodder for a belief. And
sure,
that's where we are.
It's the same argument that they make for welfare queens, but it's as equally silly because the people that are doing that are such a small, minute percentage of people that are doing that to cast that aspersion upon people on what is ultimately a stereotype is a dangerous way to go about that. I
think like Gigi said it best. Like they believe in something different. They believe in a different form of victory. Their ideas of freedom and
agreed, but that's not what these they were killed driving down the street in a car with their children, not in a battle on the battlefield. it's not the same. It's not the same thing. And
I
I
would
don't
argue that
Yeah.
driving through Gaza at this point in a car is driving through a battlefield.
well,
And if you-
there's an argument to be made there, sure. But fuck,
it's
dude.
just understanding the environment. Like, all of us are going to be here at the same time. Like, again,
It's
like,
still irresponsible. It's true. I can see what you're saying. It doesn't absolve Israel from making either a tactical mistake or a purposeful mistake. And either one of those things, there's plenty of blame to go around. But man, Israel is pushing this thing to a point where they're using up the goodwill. How much longer can they talk about October 7th and how this is a revenge tour before it becomes more than that?
People argue that we drew out 9/11 for 20 years. So, and a lot of people compare what happened on October 7th to what happened on 9/11, 2001. So this is a great way to expand the conversation as to what would actually happen should all of the guilty players, all of the dirty hands in this situation come to fruition and come to broad and have to expose themselves. Here's another story from our friends at ABC News. Israel threatens to strike Iran directly if Iran launches attack from its territory. I don't know if I included it in this one.
Do they want that smoke? It just seems to me that's. I don't know. I don't know that Israel wants that smoke.
You would own if Iran launches missiles and rockets from their territory. Gosh, the only way you, as a country, as a human being, like, I'm gonna see that group of 5 dudes over there. I'm gonna punch that one dude right now, right? You don't do that in a vacuum. You do that with backing. You do that with assurances. There's going to be clearly a response to everything that's been happening in the Middle East right now, and Iran's been doing it so far from their proxies and Hamas and Hezbollah and various other proxies, right? Israel just basically said they'll strike Iran directly if Iran launches attacks from its territory. There's been actually some pretty credible intelligence stating that Iran is preparing to launch missiles, rockets, all that fun stuff into Israel. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that sure seems like that's how you kick off World War III.
If it hasn't been already kicked off with the information warfare in the situation.
Sure, right. The fuse has certainly been lit. I don't think that we're not at the stage yet where a full blown like official war, but the embers are burning and being stoked. Certainly,
absolutely stoked. Skip, I guess, the next story. We need to move on. It's 8:00.
Oh man. We've been ranting for a while.
It goes fast here in the Thunderdome. To ensure our position in the world and when this eventually goes down, Biden vows ironclad U.S. commitment to Israel amid fears of an Iran attack. Biden has vowed that U.S. commitment to defend Israel against Iran was ironclad, as concerns rose in Washington that a significant Iranian strike could happen within days in retaliation for the bombing of an Iranian consular building in Damascus, which is in Syria. U.S. and allied officials fear that a strike is imminent and could come in the form of direct missile launch from Iran a direct missile launch from Iran, rather than an attack through a proxy like Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel has vowed to respond in kind to a direct strike, raising the prospect of a regional war, which U.S. officials now believe is more likely than any point ever since beginning of the Gaza conflict in October 7th. The Gaza conflict, and as a terrible way to describe what happened on October 7th as the Gaza conflict. So careful the wording, right? Biden's pledge of support to Israel at the White House, intended as a deterrent, came a few hours after Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah al-Khamenei, repeated a threat to strike back against Israel over the Damascus bombing that killed 12 people, including General Mohammad Reza Zahid, a senior figure in Iran's Islamic Revolution.
Here's where. So help me out here, Brooks.
I will.
How is this? Why would we support Israel in this if Iran is responding to an attack that was initiated by Israel? How is that any different than what is going on with Israel and Hamas? Why would Iran not be in the right to respond?
That's where it gets tricky, right?
Right.
It's opinion, it's belief, objective goals, and diplomacy are murky in these situations, I would say, because there's strong opinion one way or the other. And while opinion should not exactly weigh against objective decisions, they certainly do influence the people, like the voting public. So, yeah, when you come to a situation where you're defending your country, you kind of throw away part of your objectivity.
Yeah.
Right. Then you come to a situation where, like, well, this country is doing that, and this country is doing this. And
the problem is though,
like,
also,
we've
Brooks,
done this too.
Yeah, and I get that. The problem that it becomes with this firm support of Israel over and over again that Biden has come out with is that, man, it in doing so opens up Biden and the administration and the American government for criticism over hypocrisy. And if you haven't seen it yet, I would encourage you to check out Jon Stewart's Daily Show from Monday night. He goes pretty in depth into this, he spends pretty much the entire episode talking about this conflict and some of the, and one of the big things that he pointed out that I thought was pretty spot on is the difference in the way that we talk about Russia and them taking over land that they believe is theirs by force, and the way we treat Israel, who could be argued is trying to take land or has taken land from other people by force. We support one and demonize the other. And that's the problem with picking a side in this, is that it opens you up to this very influential television host spending 20 plus minutes possibly breaking down and bringing receipts, video receipts of you saying one thing about one person and then doing another about the other. You open yourself up to this criticism in an election year where every fucking vote is going to matter. Mm-hmm. To take sides so strongly here is just, I don't know who's giving him this advice, but it doesn't seem to be good advice from where I sit.
Also, not good advice to agitate a ginormous grizzly bear. We're gonna move on here.
Yes.
A terrible segue. I don't know how to wrap that.
We're not going to talk about the hypersexual zombie cicadas.
We're gonna move. We're gonna hold on to that one.
Okay, we have to at least read the headline, because when I read this headline, I said to myself, how did this not make lightning round? This was made for the lightning round, but it's one of those stories that crept out of the lightning round and into the regular. But
I was thinking we're gonna cover this next week, to be honest with you, because
okay, all right, fine. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it.
Don't. And now it's gonna become a thing, and everybody's going to share it on their Facebook, and it's gonna be. Well, we'll get to it. We'll talk.
Zombie cicadas coming next week.
Hello. Shoot, Ben. I don't know which one.
The grizzly bear. The
coming
giant
at you.
grizzly bear.
Yes.
We can do both that and the drones. I think we can excuse me, cleanse the palate a little bit here.
A little bit. Okay. So we have a video of what it looks like a grizzly bear bearing down at you at full speed. Thanks to our friends in I don't know. Nature.
Sorry, this is not going according to plan here.
Yeah, the video is actually way down on the
yes,
the
it's
story.
the sharing of my
This
screen that is
website
taking a minute.
It's USA Today. You think that'd be better, but
Yeah,
better.
we're just gonna get right to the fucking video. So hold on.
So there's a video cam on a trail that captures a grizzly bear.
Look at this giant fucking grizzly bear. That thing is enormous.
He's like, oh, and then he hears or senses something, and
Imagine that thing coming at you. You'd have no chance.
Down at you.
That thing is a giant killing machine.
Doesn't care either. It can climb that tree that you're gonna climb.
It can run faster than you. Like it will fuck your whole world up. Make no mistake.
Ben, okay, so bears are very dangerous and generally known as killers, right?
Correct.
Did you hear this story of pet parents that used a drone to find their missing husky, only to find the husky playing with bears? No?
Really?
You did not hear this story.
I have not seen it, but I've heard. I did hear it.
It's, of course, in Russia. A recent drone search for a missing husky in Kamchatka, Russia, took a surprising turn when the pet was found not alone, but playfully interacting with a group of wild brown bears. I don't know how to say that in Russian. The undated footage, now going viral on social media, shows the husky trailing the bears, even circling them excitedly. While one bear attempts to nudge the dog away when it gets too close, the overall interaction appears to be non-threatening. The video has amassed almost 20 million viewers on Instagram and a range of hilarious comments. One user joked, "Mama bear to Papa bear. I know we said Junior needed a friend, but this kid needs to go home." Another, that makes sense for parents.
I'm trying to get this video to come up, but this is becoming quickly a disaster. It's taking me to Instagram. It is not going well. So I apologize. I don't know that we're going to get... You guys can search it out if you have Instagram. I'm sure it's all over the place. I apologize.
So when things usually don't...
I've lost control over here.
And things have gone off board and there's just a random energy in the air. Well, folks, that energy can only be electricity. And
come on.
As
I'm trying.
Bring the electricity to the show, we introduce the lightning round. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the my dad's favorite segment of the show. We call it the lightning round. It's the crown jewel of the podcast. And well, folks, if you're unfamiliar with the rules, let me...
Is the audio all choppy for everyone else, or is it just me?
I'm not watching as well. I'll let the Thunderdome decide that feedback. Hey, And I just mentioned the Thunderdome. That is the lifeblood of the show. And what we do here in the lightning round is engage the Thunderdome to the max by reading 3 headlines.
No, I
Those
didn't
3
eat any of those
headlines-
gummies. It's my computer. But I'm getting
All right,
fiber optic cable put in this weekend. So my internet connection should improve greatly until
so
by next
cool.
week.
I'm jealous. I want fiber optic cable.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll just have to deal with announcing the 3 headlines for the lightning round, which you, the people, will vote upon. Headline number 1. Sierra Leone declares emergency after addicts dig up graves to get high on drugs made from human bones. Headline number 2. Mexican TV outlet accidentally airs man's testicles during solar eclipse coverage.
That eclipse
And
was so
headline number
stupid.
3. Polish priest jailed for throwing a wild orgy where a male prostitute died after overdosing on erectile dysfunction pills.
All right.
That's the lightning round, ladies and gentlemen. And we encourage you to vote. It's a democracy. And
they're coming flying in. We didn't even have to
they
repeat the headlines this week.
they're coming in.
But we should,
hot.
as just for
We
tradition's
will
sake.
as we remind everybody that we do this every Wednesday here. Whether you're catching us on Twitch or the YouTube, just do us a favor. Do us a serious favor right now. Just smash that like button or whatever the thumbs up thing is.
Smash the like button like the Padres smashed Kyle Hendricks tonight.
He's pedestrian.
He's garbage. Get him off my fucking team.
Oof. That Mama Hendricks went out like that, and I've met her, and she's, ooh, you got a fight on your hands.
Oh wait, alternate headlines: snorting human, solar balls, and confessions of priest.
So, that said, we will just go back over.
Yes.
We'll do it one more time. As they say, Ben, from the top, headline number 1. Sierra Leone declares emergency after addicts dig up graves to get high on drug made from human bones.
That's great. That's just insane.
Headline number 2. Mexican TV outlet accidentally airs men's testicles during solar eclipse coverage. Pretty good, actually.
That's pretty good.
And headline number 3. Polish priest jailed for throwing wild orgy where a male prostitute died while after overdosing on an erectile dysfunction pill.
I can't believe you can overdose on that. Votes are coming in. I did get a text. Adrian is going with number 2. It won't appear in the comments, but you can mark that down, Brooks.
I'm marking it down. We got Ma Jordan's checking in.
Yeah,
with
Biz going with number 3. Ryan Hansen going with number 3. Ma Jordan going with number 3. Both Gigi and Adrian going with number 2. Did he watch the eclipse naked?
We all need you to vote.
Okay, can we talk about this real quick? How lame the eclipse was. Like, what? Why was this such a big deal? Did I miss something here?
Did you?
I mean, I was driving while it happened, so I couldn't like stare at it through glasses or anything. But it was just like, oh, so it got kind of dim for 4 minutes. Cool.
It's cool in
just the amount of people that were camping and like going out of their way and planning vacations around this thing. Like, there's been a number of eclipses in my lifetime, and none of them seem to have been this big of a deal. Was there something special about this one that was like ultra rare or something?
Only because there was like a totality across the northern hemisphere like that. Like, where
gotcha.
The sun was completely in some areas like blocked. Not here in Chicago, but like people drove to way southern Illinois and deep south Indiana.
Right, because like the Dallas area was like a prime area apparently. Like between Dallas and Oklahoma was like prime area, and I happened to be going to that area. I was in that area this week, and it was nuts. There were people everywhere. All right, so the other VIP data from Brooks voting for number 3 as well. The Australian guy usually pops in out of nowhere. I haven't seen him. Billy Wack usually will pop in if he's been watching for a vote, but we haven't gotten the votes. I think we're going to have to call it here, and I think 3 has won out.
By 4-2 score. Number 3 wins. Polish priest jailed for throwing a wild orgy while male prostitute died overdosing on erectile dysfunction pills. A Polish priest was sentenced to 18 months in jail for sex and drug crimes. It's great.
That's a Rough Me Up album. That's actually a title of a song.
Band or Rough Me Up, like
it was a Rough Me Up song from the early '80s. Yes.
Sex and drug. Rough Me Up. They always get me flustered. Let's reset. A Polish priest was sentenced to 18 months in jail for sex and drug crimes. State news, not like Ted Nugent. He would never be accused of sex or drug crimes. The state news agency PAP reported on Tuesday after an incident in which a man reportedly collapsed during an orgy at his home.
Jeez.
As reported by Reuters, a man collapsed at the party after taking too many erectile dysfunction pills. According to the media reports, the man was a prostitute. One of the partygoers called an ambulance, but when the paramedics arrived, they were refused entry and were only able to attend to the man after police were called, according to reports. The priest, referred to as Thomas Z., was sentenced for sexual offenses, supplying drugs, and failing to provide assistance to a person in danger of loss of life or serious bodily harm. He was also ordered to pay the victim 15,000 złoty, which is like $3,820 American. I should send you this story, shouldn't I, Ben? I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I just interrupted everybody's flow, didn't I? He was basically paid $4,000 in damages and paid several thousand złoty, which is the Polish dollar, to set up a fund to help victims of crime. Due to the nature of the trial, it took place behind closed doors. The agency decided, sources, that there would be no appeal. The story gets boring after that. And just to let you know that there was a priest who threw a wild party involving prostitutes.
It sounds like something that happens often.
I wouldn't know, Ben. Do you want to come forward with some information about parties you've attended?
Not with priests. Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, I got sidetracked watching fucking Jack Perry fight some guy backstage at an AEW show.
Somebody was posting something about that. Like, I don't know. I don't pay attention.
It's not as good as I hoped it was.
I'm paying more attention to women's basketball at this point. So go, Caitlin Clark.
I'm a big fan of Luke Perry's kid in that situation, just so we're clear. I'm on team Jack Perry. I know you're not taking sides. But me, I will firmly take.
I don't even know who these people are. I know who Caitlin Clark is.
You know who Luke Perry is, damn it.
That guy.
90210 up in this bitch.
Right on. Okay, yeah, I never actually watched that show, but I have friends that are obsessed with it and had their parents record it on a VHS recorder. So that's Topic Thunder. We just kind of shoot from the deck of the USS Little Papa. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. It's Topic Thunder.
Fire Kyle Hendricks.
Yeah, he's got to go. Babe, I'm hungry.